After a record start to 2025, development activity in Sioux Falls has slowed some heading into spring.
There's just a lot of interesting things going on right now.
Many of the year's largest projects were announced or started last year, like the groundbreaking for C.J. Schwann's new Asian food production facility at Foundation Park. Two major projects at Avera McKinnon, including a Women and Children's Tower, and the new Good Samaritan development at Veterans Parkway and East 57th Street, bringing a variety of housing with the new Sanford Clinic and Lewis Drug.
Those we know about, I know that the Development Foundation has a couple of projects they're talking to that could possibly break ground.
We're hearing from larger parties. Most of them want larger tracts of ground. We've got some ground under option right now, 50 acres, 38 acres, 110 acres. I mean, just some big tracts of ground that people are really wanting to take a look at and seeing if they can be successful here.
The 700,000 square foot C.J. Schwann's building will be one of the world's largest Asian food factories, spanning the length of more than 12 football fields at Foundation Park in northwest Sioux Falls, and include 2 state-of-the-art production lines, plus room for expansion.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done on surface, if you will, laying foundations, footings, those types of things. I think we'll see construction of the wastewater treatment facility coming up this year. And again, just the framing of that building, I think, is going to be a big deal.
The city's population growth likely will continue its steady climb of more than 2% annually.
The other side of it is if you extrapolate that to 2.25% against now 200,000 people, it gets to 5,000 pretty easily. So I do believe that we'll probably see that again this year.
Home building also is a bit of a question mark, with uncertainty around material costs, including because of potential tariffs.
I think going before all that, the home builders were really looking at a strong year. But there's also a lot of inventory. There's also a lot of lots that have been already approved. So some of that is just waiting for those to come in too.
Here's who is building: road construction crews. 2025 is set to be a year of major projects, especially on the outskirts of the city.
I would expect this will be our largest program ever.
The state's future largest intersection has started construction at Arrowhead and Veterans Parkways.
Arrowhead Parkway is one of the key gateways into Sioux Falls from the east, but it's also where most of our growth and development is currently happening. So you're just seeing a lot of growth and development happening, and also our major gateway. So you bring those two together and you end up having 9 and 10 lane intersections on each leg. And so just to make sure that we really built it for the future, we also built with pedestrian tunnels incorporated on 3 legs, so you can make your way around the entire intersection underground as opposed to trying to do it at the surface.
The next phase of Veterans Parkway also will start construction, going from Cliff to Sycamore Avenues for the next 2 years.
Things line up, and because there's been a lot of very competitive bidding, we'll try to actually bid this section from Sycamore up north and tie into 57th later this year. And so we can continue to have work underway to get this corridor done.
After years of planning and partnership, the hope is to start work on the 85th Street interchange this summer.
Scope's fairly large. I think people are going to really be impressed once it's constructed to see how modern it is. There's some braided on and off ramps. It's another diverging diamond, so I'm excited to bring that one to the ground break.
There are big improvements coming to existing roads too, including the I-229 and Cliff Avenue interchange and adjacent areas of Cliff Avenue.
But you're going to see a modern single-point interchange built there. We'll also build pedestrian and bicycle tunnels on the on and off ramps for that one as well. There's just a lot of traffic that uses it to get down to the bike trail. And then we're going to bend 41st Street North and connect it in with Lincoln High School. So there's going to be a good intersection with Lincoln High School, new modern segment of 41st Street built with it, and really we wanted to, from a traffic standpoint, separate 41st Street and the interchange, and that's what that allows us to do.
Citywide, road projects will touch more than 700 blocks and include major overlays on West 12th Street and Rice Street. This also is the 3rd and final year of upgrades to the wastewater treatment plant, which will finish its expansion later this year.
There's been just a lot of really good improvements done there hasn't been really a substantial expansion of any sort since it was built 40 years ago. But then secondly is where are we going to grow next? And so west side, we've basically laid out a sewer basin that'll take us almost within a half mile of Wall Lake. And so that whole side we expect will take almost 100 years to mature. We bid 3 projects, they're under construction as we speak, to start to put those very initial pieces of the trunk of the tree in.
There also are wastewater investment plans coming to open up development land in the southeast approaching Harrisburg and northeast near the future Mapleton Golf Club. But while the outskirts are attracting interest, development continues in the core too. Downtown, openings will continue at Sharapa Place, which will add Pomegranate Market later this year, along with multiple restaurants. The Steel District largely is open, with one restaurant, Jack Rose Social Club, opening this summer. Other downtown developments likely are farther out, though the next phase along East 8th Street from Iowa-based Christensen Development could start this year.
He's working with adjoining landowners on easements, and that's kind of slowed the process a little bit. But that's another one we've known about for a while. There's obviously a lot of discussion going around with the Wells Fargo block now that that's been, those folks have left. That's a long ways away. That's going to be a huge project someday.
Sioux Falls also is strengthening its ties to higher education and, by extension, economic development opportunities.
I think with the Discovery District now, the building being out there, we've got actually something physical to show people coming into that particular environment. I think the dark lab space is really going to help us kind of enter that market a little bit better. Both of those are relatively new to us, and so we're really trying to figure out what is the draw for Sioux Falls for that, and what do we need to do to make that more enticing for them.
But this also could be a year to take stock of Sioux Falls' success and more intentionally plan for its future.
You know, we're growing at a pretty frantic pace here, and that puts pressure on wastewater, on water, on electricity, on all those types of things. And so having that conversation about who is our real target market here and where do we want to grow, how do we want to grow, are we at capacity in any of our industries that we have here? But that conversation, we're starting to have that conversation now kind of behind closed doors to talk a little bit about what that means, and that will direct our course in the future.